Okay. I don't know if this will be fun or not for everyone else. I think I might enjoy it, but I don't really know unless you have other ideas. Do you know about this Jim Breuer comedy special at all?
Is it new?
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Brand new. Brand new.
No.
Okay. I'm not gonna tell you anything about it. We're just gonna watch it and just gauge reactions. I know a little bit about it. I've seen portions of it, but have not seen
What is
the
it?
whole
Is it
thing.
cringy or something?
Apparently, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty rough. So yeah. Just for fun, let's watch some cringe. I've seen clips of this and I've been curious about it for a while and have wanted to kind of say it. Somebody had to say it is the title of it. I mean, already it's kind of cringy, right? Like he's the one. He's already proclaiming he's the one guy saying shit. That
Even
no
though
one
arguably
else.
there's been some other people saying it.
Oh, we'll find
Okay.
out. We'll see what they say, what he says. Maybe no one has said it. He's like,
I like the way sparks smell. Somebody had to say
does
it.
anyone feel like mushrooms should have hats?
Somebody
Had to say.
You can't just say that after everything, Jim.
Oh god, that's too funny. Audio shit, eh?
Yeah, it is. Probably be better when he actually talks in the mic.
But why isn't the music like piped into?
Yeah,
this,
that's
right?
a very good point. That's a very good point. Usually that shit's like,
Yeah.
they play it live, but then for the recording for like
Yeah,
TV, they
like,
like
you can-
play it. Yeah,
what
no,
is
that's a good
this?
point. But,
All right.
but it still sounds that way.
They could wait.
Like
is
somebody's
this
just got their
literally
phone out.
recorded on this.
It's like
speaker?
somebody's got their phone out.
This is the special. This is on his page, bro. Yeah, this is the posted special.
Okay.
Wow. Well, thank you all for coming out and risking your lives.
Somebody had to say it.
Just by the way, this
Dude.
came out in June 2022, and he's making risking your lives comments about COVID.
Yeah. Funny. Funny.
Like,
Now, if you had a comedy show during the pandemic, like some people like Chappelle, he had that whole outdoor thing, if you
yeah,
remember?
the first show after the first year, like,
Mhm.
I could see that joke.
Yep, that's a joke to me.
And anyone could have made that joke, but he's like sarcastically making the joke, you know? Like, and he's, look at him. Oh, God. He's really very proud.
There's still people going, you're not really going out in public indoors, are you? The Delta, the Omega, the Charlie Brown.
Stay inside! This is never ending!
Woof.
Holy crow. Poor old people would just stay in the basement. How long am I supposed to stay there? We'll come get you in a safe. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm like,
Yeah.
we're both free to laugh whenever we want.
Yeah.
You were real cocky a couple months ago. You got vaccinated. Got my second shot April 19th. I can't get sick from the corona. I'm vaccinated. See this bucket of virus? I'm vaccinated. I'll even lick metal. I'm not afraid of anything.
What's up, Gover?
What is going on?
Yeah, I've seen little clips of this, but I've been.
This is fascinating.
I've been wanting to see like exactly. I mean, there's a whole hour of this. Like, what is it? You know?
It seems like I don't know that he's actually told a joke yet. He's just
No.
going like,
He just does a lot of impressions. We'll call them quotes around.
Old person stands up. Yeah, it's like Jesus Christ, dude.
Oh god.
It's like it's like, you know when Martin Luther gave his famous speech, he showed up with paper, threw it down. You see him walk out with a sheet of paper? He's not looking at it. He's like, you know what? I got this. I'm just gonna roll with it. No, none of my jokes I had written. I'm just gonna roll with whatever comes to the top of my head.
The funny thing is like when he was in like his half-baked days, like I've seen old stand-ups of his, and I've never found him funny as a stand-up, but we all kind of liked him as the like stoner.
Yep.
Even on SNL, like Goat Boy, like God, it is all just genuinely obnoxious to some extent.
Yeah.
But like we were like, oh, he seems like a nice guy. Like
Yeah.
we gave him. He's not the guy to come out and be like, I'm the smart guy that's gonna tell you all how it is.
This
right? Like,
definitely ruins my image of him. Like you said, I just portrayed him as the nice guy.
no.
And it's like, oh.
He in the last year and a half or so, he's found like an avenue in the COVID world to be like, oh, I've got it. And I think he thinks he's doing like what he thinks like Joe Rogan and Dave Chappelle are doing, but he's just not as smart as them.
No. He's just making wacky noises. COVID.
And Rogan's not even like a smart dude, right?
Nope.
I'd say Chappelle's probably pretty fucking intelligent for sure, but Rogan? But yeah, even Rogan can do like as a bet.
Yeah, I
far
agree.
better
He's
understanding.
really taking the COVID stuff as far to get a career again. Like
Yep,
that.
exactly.
Yep, you nailed it.
You don't have to wear a mask.
He's
He's
like,
just making.
he's like, if I go out and bitch about COVID, I think a lot of old people will like me, and he's not wrong.
Not
Like,
wrong
he's
at all.
100% accurate.
Vaccinated are getting sick. What? You need a new booster. What? Who wants a shot?
Yeah,
Who wants to see a ball
I mean,
game?
Rogan's towed that line a little bit. Rogan is entertaining. You just can't take Rogan seriously, right? Like Rogan
No.
is the stoner dude who's like, but what are the stars, man? You know,
Yeah,
like,
and I
and that's
think-
fun for all of us. Like,
I think
it
Rogan
is.
kind of got put up on a pedestal for a while because I do think he was really good for a while at seeing both sides. And then I think there was a while where he probably was a little too open about that and maybe kind of, you know, people thought he was super open to stuff.
Exactly. That is Rogan shit.
Yeah.
Whatever that
yes,
guy-
yes.
That's Rogan level
exactly.
shit. But like, it's fun. Like but he got to a point where
He stopped being that fun guy.
well, I think the bigger issue had to do with one. I mean, his audience just got to a size that where
Yeah, that's
what
very
he
true.
started saying kind of mattered, right? He couldn't just
Mm-hmm.
flippantly say some what if bullshit like Tucker
Yeah.
Carlson does every fucking night.
it's like,
Now people were like,
the famous 70-year-old rock star, or the rock stars from the 70s, where they're like the most famous people on earth, and like, well, we don't want to be your role models. Like, yeah, but you
you're gonna
also,
be, right? Yeah.
everybody likes you. You know, you're everybody's your fan.
I mean, there was always, Joe Rogan was very appealing because he's been doing it for a long time. Ever since I'm 40 now, and ever since I was like fucking 20, Rogan's been like somewhere in like the kind of weed scene, you
Yeah.
know, and the like conspiracy theory scene.
Yeah.
But he was always the rational one.
Yeah,
But like back then,
and able to
Yeah,
call
like,
himself
no
out
one-
too.
like Alex Jones could be crazy, but like no one was taking it seriously, right? So it was like just kind of fun to have like a crazy friend around,
Yep.
who was saying some fun shit, and if you're getting high, you're like, maybe. Blah, blah, blah,
Yeah, I don't have to like it, but
And then yeah, it just kind of grew to a point where it's like, Alex Jones is like now taking his shit very seriously, and now he's platformed in a way that he never was before, and suddenly people are listening to it differently than they were before, and yeah, it was just a different world for it all of a sudden. When the podcast took down the police mugshots, started to go downhill slowly. Wait, it took down police mugshots?
Well, he used to have like mugshots hanging in his background, but I think it was like Hendrix and all the famous people, right? But I thought he just moved studios. And, like,
yeah, no, I know what you're saying. Yeah, when they moved studios.
Yeah.
Like when they moved from LA to Austin is when it definitely got weird.
Which was again another weird
Dude,
thing
that
for
weird
me.
like red little room that he was in for a minute was fucking like, I was like, I can't watch this.
Yeah,
like,
it's so distracting.
I feel claustrophic for them right now.
Yeah.
I think they've improved it since then for sure.
I agree.
Yeah, it felt like a laser tag room or something.
It does.
Right?
It did. All right, I'm finding this fascinating.
Yeah,
this
is fascinating.
Crazy to me.
Oh, what's your quote? Let's hear that real quick.
Let's hear the quote.
Let's hear the quote.
Let's hear the quote.
There's the quote.
Rogan had few money, but now he has.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty clever.
Yeah, right. Like,
all right, well played.
At one point in time, he's like, "Fuck you, I can, like, say whatever I want," and now he's like, "Nah, whatever, it doesn't matter. Like, I'll be okay." Yeah, like that sort of. Yeah.
Like when you get $100 million deal, you can be like, he's a star. And you're like, well, he also doesn't have to worry about shit for the rest of his life. So sorry. Money runs everything.
Where did this come from?
Yeah.
Who wants a shot? Who wants to see a ball game?
Can you hear this very well, Cameroon?
Wave your flipper. That's for you. Go see the ball game. Who wants to work again? That's for you. Who wants their kids educated?
Dude.
What's on the shot? It's safe. Don't worry. Don't worry.
But he says that like that you couldn't see what was in the shot. Like that they hit it. It's safe, don't worry. And everyone's like, okay, and with no idea of what it. Dude,
Well, he's just making like what seal like or like it's just like
he does what you do on like a playground when you're like making fun of a kid, but you're not smart enough to do anything, so you kind of mock things.
Not loud noises.
You just mock very
loud noises. That's all it is.
Oh,
oh, this guy's funny. I like this guy. He's funny like that.
Go ahead, get it.
Oh, he's doing his loud noises now. He'll say a sentence like, "Oh, it's safe," and then he'll go on for longer than that sentence was and make loud noises.
Dude, I wonder if people did. I'd be curious to look into this. I'm sure they didn't have to be vaxxed, but I guarantee you he's vaxxed. Yeah, his wife fought a very long battle with cancer, and he trusted a lot of medical professionals in that whole process. And it's
I didn't know that.
Very ironic for him to be out
It
here
is
being
very
like,
ironic.
Trust the science. Trust the science. It's like, yeah, bro.
Isn't that what you did?
Yeah. Exactly.
I bet in the early 2000s this would have slapped.
I
yeah.
bet you're right, actually.
Absolutely.
Him and Jim. Dude, who was Jeff Dunnigan? That fucking name sounds so.
Jeff Dunnigan.
I know who it is. Like, I just haven't seen him in forever. Wait, Jeff? Is that who it was?
Yeah, I do videos.
No, there's no Jeff Dunnigan. Who's another?
No, you're close though.
There's definitely someone around.
Oh, the guy who does the puppets?
Oh, Jeff Dunham.
Jeff Dunham.
Dunham? Yeah,
Puppets.
Jeff Dunham. Dunham. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
2000s.
I got you.
It's the only time Dunham could have been successful was the 2000s.
Steps back. I feel like this is gonna be a Broadway play in 3 years. know what I mean? Like, what? It's 6 foot safe.
This isn't really a Broadway place, I guess.
Social distance, 6 foot safe.
You're still going, huh? Oh my God.
5 foot danger. 6 foot safe. 5 foot danger. If you're 6 foot safe, I'm 5 foot danger.
Dude.
I'm coming to breathe on you.
Like he couldn't even think of like a little, like clever little tune.
There's no clever quip. Yeah, there's no tune. He's literally just like.
I think this is,
Like he's like stumbling over his words,
this
kind
is
of
like improv, kind of, right?
Yeah.
I think
That's what I'm telling you. He brought the piece of paper out, and I'm sure his manager was
bullet
like,
points,
manager's like, hey, just please set the paper on the ground
Yeah.
and look at it once in a while, because you've been kind of going off topic a little bit lately. And remember when we talked about the noises? You got an hour-long
Making a bunch of
special.
noise
40
about it.
minutes of it is noises, and then what you'll do is you'll say one sentence, and then you'll go back into noises. We're trying to work on that, right? Trying to work on that, Jim.
I'm the grandma killer.
what is this?
What is going on? This is hilarious.
Listen
Not in
to
the right
the
way.
rules.
That guy laughing in the background.
Here come the governors. Bum, bum,
It ain't that.
bum, bum, bum,
Oh, he's still doing the Broadway then. Okay. We're 11 minutes left.
We have no rules and regulations.
Oh, he's a Nazi.
Hitler.
Yeah, he's
Nazi.
a Nazi now, of course.
Never heard that comparison.
We shall determine who is essential.
Jesus Christ.
We shall determine who may go at your house and who shall have a muffin.
Dude, and he goes on forever with
I
this.
know, he just keeps doing it.
He wrote 3 jokes. He's like, I had
And
to kill
remember,
60
if you
minutes.
see any children
It's so
playing uns outside together, report them and their parents. This is for your safety.
The funny thing is like
That's the perfect pause
Yeah.
right there.
yeah,
That's him. That's his shtick, is this.
the hypocrisy of the whole like we'll decide who is essential, and it's like, yeah, you guys kind of were like, hey, I'm okay. Who cares if the old people aren't? We want to go out. It's like
Yeah.
you decided who was essential.
Yeah,
right?
you literally
Like, yeah.
you literally made that decision on your own. Yeah. Okay. This is fascinating.
I know, right?
Oh, back into the broad. Okay, back into the broad.
6 foot safe.
This is a full-grown man.
And then the news cockatoos come out.
Oh, of course, there's got to be a noise.
Watch the news. Watch the news.
He's done the cockatoo in a different special before, though. Is it really done?
You're just
Trust the
doing.
experts. Trust the experts. Trust the science. Trust the science. CDC, CDC, Dr. Fauci, Dr. Fauci.
I think you
Mask
could
on,
do that.
mask
I
off,
think-
2
I-
shots,
I
1
bet
shot,
anything
mask on,
you
2
do-
mask.
Here's the issue: is you know what audience like you can't do this in front of any audience. You got to do it in front of his audience, right? You've got to
Yeah.
form yourself as the person that gets people like this to show up to his show, and then yeah, you can absolutely do stand up for sure.
Can I make a quick phone call?
Oh my god.
Sorry. Sorry.
How quick? What?
Like 2 seconds.
What does she need?
Well, let me see.
Oh my god, I'm sorry about this.
2 seconds.
Sorry about this. What do I do for a living? Like accounts payable. Accounts payable. Some minor accounting, sales and use tax and shit like that. But yeah, he's a head of maintenance at a theme park.
Yep.
Ghost Adventures did a whole episode at the theme park.
And we did a whole episode on that.
Yeah.
Check it out.
On my YouTube, we've got a whole fucking review of the episode.
Because we both worked there.
They do.
So we were able to kind of like watch everything they went through and kind of be like, well, we've been there a billion times, that doesn't happen.
But yeah,
So if you want a different perspective.
we've got a 5-video series on my YouTube of that, and then we did a review of it on this show, like our first episode of this show. The review is fine, but like because it's a review, we don't delve in as much into some things because it's like repeating ourselves.
We didn't want to, yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting. It's fun. It's my most viewed video.
Comply!
This episode 1.
6 foot safe.
Dude,
Do what you are told. It is for your safety.
I wonder what his comedian friends like say when he's like talks to him about like stand up and like the jokes that he's written.
This is
like,
just.
I've never seen anything like
he's
this.
still friends with like Dave.
Dude, there's somebody. Did you just see there's somebody wearing a mask in the crowd? Go back a little bit. But it shows that crowd shot.
Do what you are told. It is for your safety.
And then pause it.
People want to fight.
No, let's skip that. I think it was. Yeah, so pause. That person's wearing a mask.
Yeah, and the whole fucking head thing. Like, what?
Yeah, but I think, I mean.
Are they laughing? Nope.
Nope. Clearly not laughing.
Like,
Not even budging.
People want to fight and argue. You don't understand what's going on.
what do they say?
You don't even understand what's going on.
Everyone knows a doctor. I know doctor.
You understand?
I did, dude.
Because that is what he said. You understand?
You didn't hear that? I mean, come on. I speak freaky deaky Dutch, dude.
People want to fight and argue. You don't understand what's going on.
That's what he said. Yeah.
Everyone knows a doctor. I know doctor.
Okay, I didn't get that one.
And they told me like there's a stockpile.
Facts and figures, facts and...
You getting anxiety? This is. I love this. I love this.
We talking about this. Like, my cringe factor is like,
don't have
I'm
one.
enjoying every fucking
No,
second
I
of
love
this.
this. But it's weird. I'll sit there and be like, man, I'm like stressed out right now.
I'm like, I think I'm like, I get to the point where I'm just like, oh my God, Jesus Christ. Like, yeah, it doesn't stress me out, but it's like, okay, it's not even funny. Like, there will be a point where I'm like, this is even, like, I assume by the time we get to like minute fucking 20, he's got to be talking about something different, right?
Because where are we at now?
got
8 minutes. 8 minutes, and I'd argue he's been on the same topic.
He's made one comment about COVID and people wearing masks, and then made a bunch
Just
of
does
different
a bunch
impressions.
of noises, and then he'll keep doing them over. He did the whole musical with the Hitler thing, back into the bird.
Don't ask questions.
Oh, and he's back. Yep.
Oh, he's back to Hitler again. Okay.
I've been flying on planes
So I
for
go.
months.
Somebody had to say
Flying
it
on a
though.
plane.
Dude, the whole, I mean, if somebody had to say it, this whole thing might be topical in his dumb brain, and
This is
so
what I knew,
I'm
like,
excited, maybe.
All right, this is so dangerous. Keep grandma in the basement. Wait for wait. But you can go fly wherever you like.
That's not how it was for
Now, here's
quite a
the
long
best part.
time.
If you've been flying, they get you soon as you walk in the terminal.
Make sure you wear your mask at all times. Do your part.
Stay 6 foot safe. Yeah, that, you know when that doesn't work? And it goes right the minute you board that plane, everyone's like, oh, come on, I want to get overhead space. Excuse me. Excuse me, we gotta get on the plane. There's not enough overhead space.
I mean,
Yeah, the thing is boarding a plane, you Yes,
Now
but
you're on a
Point
you
is
also have to.
minimalizing from that point.
Yeah,
on.
and it's also like, dude, we do also have to, as a society, try to move on, and there's certain things that you need people to be able to fly for.
Well, that's the point. Is like, there was a period of time where like I think they were minimally boarding flights to ensure a matter of like.
Oh yeah, they
social
canceled flights for
distancing.
a while.
But
Dude,
like,
I was
like
supposed
at
to go
some
to
point in
Japan.
time, you're like, yeah, fly if you have to.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah, it's like a kind of thing. It's like, hey, at your own risk. Like, we can't shut down flights forever. We can't keep canceling these things.
100%.
You have to just
But
fly
they
your
view
own
it
risk.
as like there's some sense of hypocrisy that exists within it, and it's like every time you get what you want, you like hold it against the other side somehow, and it's fucking weird. It's fucking weird, right?
Yep. It's a very, like, reminds you of, like, grade school.
Yeah.
Where, like, yeah, told you that
Yeah.
dude was in that movie. Like, yeah, I just said I was wrong, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Yeah, but I was right.
Yeah, but I told
I was
you.
right, and now I'm never going to believe you whenever
Yeah.
you say somebody was in a movie, so.
It's absurd.
Just
It's,
saying.
tube. I'm in a tube.
I mean, and he's kind of the perfect example of like he's conveying this like what I interpret as a childlike rationale. He is acting it out. Like he is kind of
That's
the
kind of always
ultimate-
been his shtick.
yeah, but I mean like he's kind of like unintentionally being like the ultimate like figure for
Yeah.
what we kind of imagine when
Yeah.
we hear people whine about shit
Well,
like that, you know? And
well,
you're
it's like
this
and
is
he's
probably
doing-
how they feel about
He's
it.
doing it ironically, but what's funny is this is what we see.
Right, yeah.
You-
That's what I'm saying.
yeah,
Yeah. That's
okay.
my point.
Gotcha, yeah.
Is that like
It's like,
he
oh.
thinks he's making points and he doesn't realize he's
They're like, no,
unintentionally
you look like
kind
an
of like
idiot, dude.
being like representing exactly what we see when we
Because
view the other side.
I've known people and even seen comedians make funny or clever or even good arguments about
I've
stuff.
laughed at jokes about.
Yeah, and you're like, oh,
This
that's
is
actually a
weird.
good point. That's pretty funny. None of this is funny though. It's
Yeah,
like you're
no.
not smart about it. You gotta if
you
you're
don't
gonna
just get to go face mask.
Yeah. Like I'm sure if Ron White were to do a set
Yeah,
about
right.
COVID,
Ron White
dude,
would be
that
funny.
would be
Ron White.
hilarious, and I'd probably be sitting
Right.
there going, "Oh shit!"
How about you,
That's-
Jeff Foxworthy? Probably. Well, he actually had a new Netflix special, and we gave up. Well, Chelsea gave up pretty early on. I would probably give it more time because I grew up liking Jeff Foxworthy
Yeah.
a lot, and I give more credit to him as a stand-up comedian than
You might
know,
be a
like,
redneck
like
if you're sitting
then
there
like, but he's still
wearing
like
your beard as a
he's
mask.
he's not Larry the Cable Guy, right? He's not
Delta farce.
like Jeff Foxworthy. There was a time and place like that he had his fucking peak, but he was really really good. Like there's just no denying.
Well,
He's
Ron
like
White.
one of the best selling comedians.
Yeah,
in fucking all
and
time,
Ron
you
White's
know?
one of
Like,
my favorite. Like
Ron White's fucking great. dude.
just
Yeah.
like a guy that
But he doesn't
maybe-
drink anymore. He
Mhm.
doesn't. Yeah, he's.
yeah.
I mean,
A
which is
guy I may
good
not
for him,
agree
but
with
yeah.
things day to day, but man, when that guy told jokes, you're like, oh,
Right, for sure.
well played.
He did in a really
Yeah, like,
a smart
well
way,
played,
like in a
well
pretty smart
played.
manner, right? Yeah.
In a casual way, like he
Yeah.
was never like sitting there going,
Yeah, this shit's nonsensical. All right, let's try
Sorry.
to watch like at least
An enclosed tube.
an extended period of it.
Okay?
You know,
And
pause
then
every time
I'm
we talk,
sitting
you guys
next to
can,
someone
please.
right here. And right here. And this person here, I know that he's about 3 bills. He's got high cholesterol. He's already huffing and puffing. I'm not used to walking from one terminal to the
making
other.
fun of fat people,
I've had the
but
gout
not in a
3
clever way.
times in the last year,
That's
but
just lazy.
it wouldn't take
Joke,
me because
Grady.
of COVID. Doctors don't take anyone nowadays unless you're almost dead and
so
they put you
now-
on the respirator.
Like more or less, like what he's saying here is that like
Extended period of time, Justin.
we have to like he's bitching that like we have to consider these people in life, right? Like there's a disease going out that maybe he's not personally susceptible to, but he's talking specifically about the people that are susceptible to it and pretending like they don't fucking matter and that they're irrelevant at the end of the day, right? Like the fact that there's no self-awareness about that is like,
There's no cleverness and
What
there's
the
no
fuck?
punchline. There's literally
there's
not a
never a
single
punchline.
punchline
There's
to his
never a
jokes.
punchline.
It's
Yeah.
just his punchline is animal noises. And it's just like you'll be like, oh, planes, right? Karoo-coo-coo! Karoo-coo-coo! And everyone's like, yeah, right? Leftist. Jeez. Karoo-coo-coo indeed,
But, yeah.
sir. Karoo-coo-coo indeed.
He does like this thing. He just points out things that he knows people are upset about. He has no insight about that topic. He just knows that people are upset about it, and that if he says it and then makes fun of the people that are upset, like on that side, that those people will laugh.
He can literally say, exactly, he can literally say anything that is shitting on the other side.
And they're
Follow
like,
it up with
"Oh, I
a
love
Nazi
it.
walk, and then people are like,
I love it.
Dude,
I feel-
he's so right. But you haven't actually said anything.
Right.
Like, that's the thing with a good comedian.
And the whole premise of this is somebody had to say
Yeah,
it. And
but
he
you
hasn't
haven't said a fucking
anything.
thing,
I
dude.
said I'm not dying, but I got the gout. And the mess is keeping him clean. His cheeks are out to here. Oh, let's not forget the air vent above that he's too high to.
Yeah, what?
Trust
Yeah,
the
that's-
science. Ah! I know a doctor. I know a doctor. Facts and figures. Ah, ah, ah.
And then they walk up and down the aisles. It is a federal crime if we catch you with that mask below your nose,
No, I've flown. They don't do this. They do
They
not
don't.
do
even
this.
though we're in a tube.
They don't do this.
No.
No.
They serve you food. You're allowed to, like, take your mask off while you're eating.
You
They
literally
don't.
don't. This was June 30th. I flew to a wedding. I wore a mask. You literally were not required to wear a mask on the flight at all in any way, shape, or form. I didn't do it in the airport because at some point in time, yeah, I'm an asshole and I'm like, yeah, this is fucking inconvenient. No one else is fucking doing it, so fuck. But on the airplane, look, man, even before COVID, if I flew somewhere, it was like guaranteed that I'd come home sick
Oh, yeah,
somehow, right?
absolutely,
Like a
absolutely.
cold, some sort of fucking something.
I have terrible luck with getting
like
sick.
to me, it was just like one of those things where it's like, yeah, I might do that standard from now on planes because it seems like a good idea, right? Like, and I'm not saying that I'm not above like risking myself in that sense. Like, if everyone else is taking the same risk and they're like, fuck it, I'm not wearing a mask, it's kind of on me at that point in time to like either not be on board with that or be on board with that, right? And I'm not saying I'm above being lazy or uncomfortable to the point where I'll be like, all right, fuck it, I'll get sick, fine.
Yeah.
Something like
Yeah.
that. But like
But it's also, to me...
to over exaggerate like the laws that were put in place to like this extent is
Well,
fucking-
and well past the
it's
point where they're not that way anymore.
it's disingenuous. Like I can't take you seriously.
And
Like
it's also, to me, like, hey, dude, like, let's say we're well past COVID. If you see somebody on a flight with a mask on, like, does it hurt? Does it bother? Like, what is that?
yeah, why? If
Why
you're
is that a
about
big
personal
deal?
freedom, why are you losing your mind at someone else's decision?
Yeah,
Like,
it
Jesus
just
fucking
goes.
Christ.
It goes back to like
If you don't want to wear a mask, don't wear a fucking mask,
Don't wear a
asshole.
mask. Don't wear a mask.
Just
I'm
calm
not
the
gonna.
fuck down about it.
I'm not gonna sit there and be like,
Right.
"Are you fucking not wearing a mask?" No, because I'm probably not gonna be either.
Just
But-
be respectful at the
Be
very
respectful of
minimum.
people's space.
At the very minimum, if you're a non-mask wearer, like, can
Just-
you see people wearing a mask and go, well, they seem to be concerned about this.
That's it.
I'll respect that of them.
Not a big deal.
It seems like you're unable to do that. That you see someone wearing a mask and you're like, I need to get them over their irrational
You can
fear
think-
and fucking change their. And it's like
You can think
no.
whatever you want in your head. In your
Yeah.
head, you can be like, God, what a dumbass. But does that mean you need to do anything about it? Say anything about it? No. No, it doesn't.
No,
You can just sit there in your head and be like, that guy's a dumbass. Ha ha.
You
I got
gotta-
the world figured out.
you got a whole rest of your day ahead of you.
Yep. Not, yeah.
You get to choose what you deal with in a day, right?
Why waste it on that one guy who was sitting 10
Oh my god.
10 aisles up from you who's wearing a mask? Like, just
This
it's
is
fine.
how I've never been in a fight in my life. It's not hard. It's just that my desire to be right in a moment is like superseded by the fact that I would just like to go home at some point.
Yes. Yes.
And like do what I want to do.
Yes. And
Like-
that's I think what society is missing is like, hey dude, we all want to go home
Right.
tonight. And if you cause a stir, like the thing that, and you're so right now, it's so simple of like why I don't speak up in certain situations, and depending on the situation, you know what I mean?
It
But
doesn't
it's,
matter. You're
it's
not
just like,
gonna
dude, I'm not
fucking-
gonna change
yeah.
your mind. You're not gonna change mine. I just want to get the fuck home.
If you find yourself in a civil discussion, dude, talk all day. But if it's
Yes.
obvious that it's heating up to a thing, like what's your preferred like end of the evening? Like sitting comfortably on your couch watching a fucking movie and falling asleep, or in some fucking jail cell because you felt like you really had to be right in that moment and like prove who you were, fucking
10
whatever.
out of
like,
10
what the
times.
fucking fuck, dude.
10 out of 10
That's
times.
fucking some stupid shit. I want to go sleep in my bed
I'd rather-
every single night.
10 out of 10 times.
Every
I'd
single
rather
night.
be at home in my bed and then look to my wife and go like, God, there was some douchebag.
I go camping sometimes and I'm like, I made a poor decision. like, let alone fucking, I mean, over shit like that. Jesus, you guys got to learn to like balance your emotions. Emotions are important, but you got to have like a healthy balance of
Yup.
rationale
I couldn't agree more.
going on
could
in there.
not agree more.
because I don't fucking get it. Anyways,
You can disagree. That's fine. But
yeah,
don't make it anybody else's problem.
11 minutes.
And a guy with high cholesterol.
But yeah, that's their whole focus of this is like, I guess that's kind of what we're focusing on is how they're responding to us more or less, but like they're so worried about us. It's fucking crazy. Like they're just like, all they're doing is making fun of people for like being like, well, I don't know, maybe we should worry about it.
Yeah, or, you know,
Right?
maybe I should listen to scientists a little bit.
Dude,
And-
if you don't know, why is playing it safe not a reasonable option? Like,
Well,
I
it's
don't-
like the same people like, well, they don't know what they're talking about. But I'll get on this plane
Yeah.
that I, don't know who worked on it, don't know any, I just don't get how you could be so against not trusting some people and then immediately be like, I'm going to get on this plane that I don't know who the mechanics are, I don't know who the pilots are, but these guys know what they're doing.
Right. Yeah,
These guys know
sure.
what they're doing. They're cool.
You keep it on all times, or you may never fly
Wait for
again.
the Nazi
and you
Hitler
may
walk.
deal with
I'm telling you, it's
federal.
probably
It's
coming
coming
back.
back.
Punishment.
The Broadway show will make appearance.
But it's snack time. You can take them off. Oh, thank you. Thank you, science.
Oh, sorry, Bird was probably the better call.
Thank you, experts. I get to eat with no mask on. We're so safe when we eat peanuts. Isn't this fun? Thank God I'm safe.
Can't eat peanuts on a plane anymore.
The mere
Dated
fact
joke.
that his brain can't understand like taking a mask off for a moment versus like not wearing a mask for the entirety of the day and the amount of people that you'll be exposed to in that moment. I mean, I'll argue I kind of follow like his rationalization of like, if you're on a plane and there's a point in time, at any point in time, that you have to pull that mask down, like your points of exposure are all
Yeah,
around
you're
you.
exposed. And I agree. I think it's one of those things when
But,
you're but like if somebody chooses to just wear a mask for as long as they can and between eating and drinking,
And also, there's a big difference between like a snack moment where you take your mask off, you have a very specific thing, versus like we're not wearing masks. Like talking to each other,
Yeah.
like face to face, like really
Well,
close,
and it's
like
one
and
of
all
those,
over
like,
the place, you know.
I
Like,
did the comparison
dude,
to like,
can you not understand the differences of like the circumstance, you know? Like,
but it's also like that comparison I get sometimes is like, oh well, yeah, what are we, China now, wearing our masks all the time? And you're like, well, there's a lot of different things that come with their society. It's not just
they
like
start doing it because of smog.
smog,
like,
but it's
like,
also
yeah.
like in their society, if they are sick
Yeah,
and they have to go out, they wear the mask so they don't.
It's
get
like a
other,
polite thing to
it's just a polite thing to be like, hey, I'm sick, but I gotta go to the doctor.
It's an easy way to acknowledge other people are sick, you know?
Yeah.
Like, if like, look, I got shit I gotta do.
Like,
I
yep.
have to be in public right now.
Yep.
But I'm gonna be safe
It's
about
not-
it. I'm gonna.
There's certain
you know,
countries like us, like different than us, where we are very like have your own cars. But there's certain places where you live where you only use
You have to
public
use public
transportation.
transportation.
So if you're sick and you got to go to the doctor,
Yeah.
it's a polite thing to be like, I'm gonna wear a mask. I'm gonna try to distance myself from
We're
people.
too put out by shit like that. Like,
And it's
that's
just like,
too
I
much
think it's
of-
just somebody
it's
trying
too
to be
much of an
polite half the
inconvenience,
time.
right?
And
like, yeah, but you're absolutely right. But yeah, unfortunately, in America, it's just fucking like selfish as fuck. You know, like we're not interested.
And it's not that I don't get any arguments either. It's like, no, it's just be smart about them, be clever.
Right, for sure.
Especially if you're gonna do an hour-long stand-up
Right.
special.
Here, I'm gonna let go. I gotta pee, but I don't.
Alright, I'm in this.
No pausing.
No pauses.
Let go a little bit.
This will be the longest stretch we've had with no pauses now that this guy's leaving.
Fuck off.
If anything, life taught me the last 2 years is we don't know anything what's around the corner. You can make all the plans you want, you get a bit of CEO, your jobs are shut down. We have no clue how quick life just goes. Bloop!
Marley!
How many people they would put on
I don't know if I know you, Marley. Do I know you?
Everyone's offended. I'm offended
What?
by this.
Oh, I know Marley. What's up, girl?
I want to talk about that.
Or boy, who knows? Huh?
If
Got
you're
it
that
there?
person, listen, man. Life is offensive.
It's more like hi boy,
My
because
wife's been
he had to
battling
go take
cancer
a
for
pee.
12 years
Which I
from
didn't have.
food that she gets poisoned with that they feed us. That's offensive. We can't see the elderly because we may kill them, even though they
We're
got 6 days
watching
to live.
one of the
See, one day, Grandma,
cringiest
stay behind the glass.
I feel
stand-up
much better.
com-
no
like,
human
I don't even know if I'd
contact.
call it
Thank you,
stand-up
Dr.
comedy,
Fauci
but
and
this
CDC.
And fear.
abysmal.
Thank you.
Abysmal. Lazy righty.
Bet you she'd rather have that touch and hug and be dead tomorrow than do this the rest of her life.
Yeah, how's it, Kenneth? That's true. He's just licking himself, though. Big chump.
You don't get to pick and choose offensive. Last week, two
gotta swap
Marines
places.
and a God came to
I
see
gotta
me
take
with their no knees.
Yeah, I
blown
heard
off.
you. I heard you.
Over
Know
in
it.
Africa. Came in wheelchairs, followed me around. We laughed, they told their story. To me, that's offensive. But there's people literally
It's Chelsea.
walking around. Here's the thing with being offended. Listen, if you're easily offended, do yourself a favor. It's not healthy. It's not healthy for you. It means your asshole's tight.
Like
does.
the worst stand-up ever watching.
And if science is your god, science will tell you that's not good for your physical being. It means you're always scrunched up and your ass can't work right and you just can't wait to go, I can't wait to talk about this subject with my facts and figures that I
Hauser
learned.
beats him up. He's desperate.
And we see you trying to escape, trying to let gas out. You can't even let gas out. That is so unhealthy for you. You can't hide it. We can hear it. It sounds like when you blow up a balloon.
Look, man.
And you know when you let out a little tiny bit of air at a time? That's what your
What up,
ass
sexy?
sounds
How
like.
you doing, bud?
I am so offended.
Hold on. Imagine being this guy's kid. You're like, this is how my dad's making a living right now.
Yeah, right.
This is how my dad's making a living.
I mean, there's people out there going, you know, Bob, I'm losing work. I've been watching this new thing on the
Yes, you did,
news.
little man.
And I never really thought about it, but I've been losing my sleep and taking things out on the family. What's going on? You know that toy? Yeah. Which kind? The potato head? Why is it called Mr. Potato?
They have a Mrs. Potato Head too. Is that a complaint?
Just so you know,
Is that a complaint? Are people complaining about that?
the premise of Mr. Potato Head was that you could always dress him up like a girl.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to
Yeah.
be Mr. Potato Head, then you're gonna have to deal with transgendered Mr. Potato Head, right? Or you just remove the Mr. It's Potato Head, and it can be Mr. or Mrs. It's not a fucking.
And they also came out with Mrs. Potato Head toys. Like, that's the thing. Like,
They definitely did, but like.
but it started out
Mr. Potato Head came with girl
all
shit that you
sorts
could
of girl shit.
Like it always was. Like it's
God,
the
you
most.
keep pausing it at the perfect points.
I know.
Because this is this guy's career now.
Yeah,
Look at my ass. Fart noises.
he's just saying we're such tight asses.
Can you
but,
I get,
like,
no, I get what
I
he's trying.
don't like. This is the way I am about that name. Like it could have been Mr. Potato Head still, and I'd be like, okay. And if they changed it to Mr. Potato Head, I'd be like, I mean, it
Still
seems
Mr.
like their
Potato Head.
decision. Okay,
Yeah.
like what do I?
It's like,
Are they still saying? Is it the same product? Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
Okie dokie. Thanks for the heads up. Right? Like,
Yeah.
what does it matter?
Well, how do you know it's a Mr. Potato Head? Does it have a penis?
Yeah, there's never been a dick on it. It's
No.
just that.
It's just a little cubby hole. You can
Yeah,
put
it's
all
like
the other pieces
man
in
hats.
his butt. If anything, Mr. Potato Head's gay because in his back,
Mr. Potato, you
you
come
could just
with a,
shove anything you wanted to in his rear end.
you know, that's
all the
where
other
you
pieces.
stored all of it.
Yep. His extra
Mr.
arms.
Potato
You could
used to
fist
come with a pipe. When I was a kid, I would
a pipe.
replicate my grandpa who smoked a pipe by using the Mr.
Mm-hmm.
Potato Head pipe and just sit there and be like, and chill with
You
him,
were always
like,
funny, though. That's true. I guess I never realized that.
You
about
were always funny.
You were always funny, even though you know.
I can't take this anymore! Why is it called a Mr. Potato Head?
Yikes.
Where's my picket sign? I want the world to listen to me.
Oh, really?
Here's the thing:
Who
is that like
pickets? I mean,
no
everybody-
one like they did that on their own. Like there was no outcry about it. It just fucking happened, right? Like, and you're acting like that they did it from some general pressure from society,
Well,
and, it had
and
nothing
also
to do with
acting
that.
like your side's not picketing. Like both sides are picketing, but you don't think the right is ever out there being like, "Fuck you, we're gonna show up in numbers and
I've never seen the right ever show up in numbers to anything in my life. January
And
6th.
picket. Okay. maybe enter anywhere
Meanwhile, this
unlawfully."
Marine's okay, never mind that. I want to talk about the potato head.
I have never heard this potato head argument.
You know that song by Dean Martin?
What argument?
Dean Martin?
What-
You're bringing up Dean
Hang on,
Martin?
You said Mr. Potato Head argument. What's the argument he's making right now?
Well, I like that, like, oh, they don't call it Mr. Potato Head anymore because
You're
they got-
giving him way too much credit.
That's what I'm saying.
He hasn't said any of that. All he's done is be like, Mr. Potato
That's
Head.
what I'm saying, though. That's what I'm saying. Though. It's like, what was your argument about Mr. Potato Head?
He
I never
hasn't
got
said
to the
any-
argument
He
of
hasn't
it.
said anything yet.
It's cold outside. I think it's all about.
Hold on. I love that we go from pterodactyls and Nazis, and he's returning to the fart joke like 20
No
fucking
matter
times.
what he does, it'll be like some general sound effect. Do you think this guy's anything right now?
Well, this
anything?
is-
No, he's a sober dude. He doesn't even smoke pot. He was like known for being like the stoner dude, but he never actually smoked pot. He just comes off that way. He's not on anything. This
Well, I
is
think it, the
sober
fact
him,
that he
bro.
was on Half Baked, it just paints you in a picture where you're like, oh, you're that cool guy from the stoner comedy. It's like,
Well,
really?
he was on Saturday Night Live. He was
Yeah,
on.
but
yeah.
I mean, like, I think most people, like, at least especially my generation, I know him from Saturday Night Live a little bit. but I know him from Half
Right,
Baked.
yeah.
And he was the
I think most
guy who's
everyone
too
knows
stoned
him
out of
from
his mind all the
Half-Baked.
time. And then you find out he's like, no, just an acting job.
Well, he's apparently hates stoners, but loves Dave Chappelle. Like Dave
You've never
Chappelle's
seen
one
this
of his
guy
good
before?
friends.
He's always kind of been like this.
Have you ever
but,
seen Half Baked? Lament? With Dave Chappelle and
like,
he's Saturday Night Live. He played Goat Boy back.
I would
in the
argue
day.
in Half Baked, this guy played the biggest stoner of them all. Because he was like the
Yeah.
retarded stoner who was always so high. He's like,
Yeah.
dude.
Oh, that's another R word that's a little iffy.
Oh,
You can
sorry,
get away
sorry,
with
sorry,
it,
sorry,
but
sorry.
yeah.
But just stupid smoke.
Yeah.
Stupid high. Like, just completely like, he could hardly put sentences together and he was just so stoned, man.
Right.
That was
But-
this guy. He
But
played.
he never actually was a smoker. Like back in the day, like I mean, we knew him as someone who was friends with Dave Chappelle, shit like that. Like, and so we kind of, even though he was never good at stand up, we were like, he's kind of funny on Saturday Night Live, and he noticed Dave Chappelle. You give him, but he came out very anti like mask and fucking vaccine and weird shit like that, and now he's like that's the premise of his joke is he just like makes fun of people that are like thought COVID was something to
Concerned.
be concerned
Yeah.
about.
Eh,
And
I don't think he's
yeah,
made a
he
single
doesn't
joke.
make points. He just
No.
mocks them. in
There's no
very
punchline.
childish manners.
Yeah.
Very childish manners.
That's like the
We're
60th time
16
he's
minutes
gone.
in, and it's more or less
Babies
been
are
the
being
same
born,
joke,
stillborn.
just told in a
I think
different
Aunt
way.
Jemima should be taken up.
Exactly what Bart did. People are whistling. Woo, woo, woo. Yeah!
Bro, that's the best shit. Best written joke I've heard all year.
Is him. Oh, man.
Come on, man. You gotta let the out. You just need love. You just need a hug. Don't take it on the rest of the world. Stop that. Stop that. Good Lord Almighty.
That's an ironic thing to say,
That's
right?
super ironic. That's
Kids growing up.
incredibly-
Am I a boy or am I a girl? Am I an elephant or am I an it? I'm a who, a what, a where, a when? What am I? I don't know. What does TikTok say? I don't know. What am I?
Yeah,
Then
it
I'm it,
definitely
tomorrow I'm a
leaves an
her.
impression.
Sometimes I'm a me, sometimes I don't know. I don't know what I am.
Just so mad at people that he doesn't understand.
They've
It's
shoved
weird.
that down our throats.
Gender, 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 gender. I'm an it, I'm a that, I'm a who, I'm a what, I'm a where.
That's offensive that they're doing that to humanity. Hand to God, I know a 14-year-old child, 14-year-old boy, whose mom decided to change his gender
That's not how
Correct.
that works.
because he doesn't like his weenie. Hand to God, true story. That's a
This is
14-year-old
first off.
child.
This is
Have
his
you ever seen a
video. Look at this fucking pixelation. Let's just make sure we're on. Hang on. Quality. Yeah, we're on 1080.
Very bad
This
quality.
is. These are his cameras. Like, this
Well,
is
I
like one of
gotta.
my
Here's
videos.
what I gotta imagine. I gotta imagine he'd probably been touring this, went for a film crew or something, and probably didn't have a lot of backing.
Maybe
Like, was this what was this released on? Was it released on Netflix or anything?
on YouTube.
That's it though.
This is the video, bro.
That's what. Okay,
No, this is the video. This is the release of this video. This
That-
is his special
Mm.
that was released on YouTube that we are watching right now. We are not watching an upload of it. We are watching the upload of it.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah. Like this whole time. This
Okay.
is the special. This is Jim Brewer's channel. This is his fucking video. This is his upload.
Mm.
Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
But also on this, the transgender issue, like, here's the thing: is one, it's not being shoved down our throats. Two, there's a vocal minority that is very specific about certain things, but again, it's a vocal minority that your side pays a lot of attention to, and it doesn't have to, right? Like, it's not as big of a deal as you make it. You're probably very wrong about this whole issue and minimizing the circumstance of your
It's
fucking
like-
friend and their child. Of like, he doesn't like his penis. I'm sure it's more than that, but I
to
don't.
word it like that is
I
kind of
don't
crazy.
know that. And if he
That's-
actually does know this person, they probably know that he's now talking about them,
Oh.
which leads me to believe that maybe he
He's
doesn't
making,
actually know a person.
Here's the
right?
thing. I don't know a parent that is willing to admit that their child is transgender that would force that on them. And he's saying it like, oh, the mother decided to change. It's like, no.
It's a weird place.
No, if you're
might
accepting
be, but
of it, you're there. You know what I
Right.
mean? If you're not accepting of it, you're not gonna force it. All right, well, fine. Now you're a girl. I'm forcing you. Like she's kind of blaming it
Right.
on the mother. And what I hear is an accepting mother that
Mhm.
goes, "Hey, this is how my child feels, and I'm gonna be accepting of that."
And also, I would like to know more, like, about it. Like, at
Yeah.
what stage are they of this? Like, are they saying that a 14-year-old kid's on hormones, or is it just that the mother is kind of open to the child exploring its own path, and maybe the child likes to wear dresses or is being
Yeah.
a little bit more feminine,
Yeah.
but like there's no actual transition that's going on yet?
Yeah.
Like we don't know any of that, and he's being very just like
Oh, he's just like not giving any facts.
right.
It's all just substance and then fart noises.
Right. Which
And
I
that's-
mean, on stage, you're supposed to be making jokes right now, right?
Yeah.
Like, we don't necessarily need the substance if you're gonna make a good point at the end of it, right? Like, if you
Yeah.
can figure out a way to tie it
We've
all
said
in,
it a million
but
times
you
tonight.
don't. You just make.
I've
fucking
laughed
noises.
at things I don't agree with because they make a good
100%,
punchline or they
yeah.
make a good point. We're like, oh, okay. And that's what I love about comedy is it's kind of like the last free will, like where I'm totally willing to sit down and watch a comedian that I don't necessarily agree with, but that is smart about it.
Right. for
And you're
sure.
like, oh, okay, all right,
Yeah.
that's a clever point. Not this guy.
Humanity. Hand to God, I know a 14-year-old child, 14-year-old boy. His
I argue
mom
14
decided
is
to
not a
change
child
his
either.
gender.
Probably the point where you
whose
correct.
mom decided to change.
That's what I'm
Because-
saying.
He doesn't like his weenie. Hand to God, true story. That's a 14-year-old child. Have you ever seen a 14-year-old boy? First of all, they're not even fully developed. They got long torsos. They got a big overbite with acne in the side of their head.
What does it have to do with anything? First of all.
Well, I mean, it's just like
Playing with a ball by himself. Always saying,
Oh,
my bad,
boy,
my
he's right.
bad.
it's like a real conversation, and whether he agrees with it or not, to dismiss it by mocking, like all he does is mock people.
Yep.
And that's absurd. There's no intellect going on. There's no like, here's why you're wrong about it. He's like, well, that's not normal.
Yeah.
Well,
Like,
you know,
like his
like
fat
it's
joke
like,
he made
yeah.
earlier, there was no joke.
Right.
He just
yeah.
made fun of a fat guy. Like
Mhm.
that's all it was. Is he didn't have a funny punchline, a clever clip. It was just like, I'm fat.
I don't think he had material. I think he just had COVID, masks,
Again,
and what is he on now?
transgender.
Yeah, transgender. Like he just wrote down keywords.
That's what I'm
And,
wondering.
Yeah,
What was on that piece of paper?
100%.
What was on
Yeah.
that piece of? Was it just like 3 words like farts,
Mm-hmm.
disagreeing, don't like the left?
No, the farts are his improv. All he has is COVID.
Yeah, but I like to think he puts in
COVID,
quotations. Like,
mask.
hey, remember? the
He
fart
doesn't
jokes
have
is-
transgenders. He wrote trannies. You know that for sure.
Yeah, but I
Guaranteed.
gotta imagine
Right?
in between every
Like,
punchline,
absolutely.
in between every joke, he's written like, remember pterodactyl noises.
Right.
Remember, or the next
Yeah.
one's like, remember to fart for 5 hours. You know what I mean?
Like in parentheses
Yes.
below it.
Like below,
He's
it's
like, this is pterodactyl noises. This is
Yeah,
fart noises.
yeah.
This one is
Pterodactyl noises don't make sense for transgender, but fart noises do. So use the fart noises. Because he's not, I would argue his improvising isn't improvising. He's just either doing a Nazi salute, a musical number that I would argue is not even playing, like you said. He didn't even go like, all right, what's a catchy melody?
No. Like, I can come up with catchier melodies. I have come up with catchier melodies than that on spot.
He's not
like,
even,
dude, and
that's
like,
the thing is
there was no, like, melody. It was just like, this is a song. Like, I literally can't do it.
That was actually kind of catchy.
I was like,
a song.
the next part was going to be like, and this is not a song. And I'm like, but that works.
That's kind of catchy, though. That's like even if it's not catchy, it's ba-da-ba-da, ba-da-ba-da. And it's
exactly.
It's a melody. Exactly. But he's just going.
But he couldn't even think of a melody. Like, no, just up, down.
He's like, you know what'll get him? More fart noises. And the thing is it's working. Is it like, you hear people in the crowd going, whistling and be like, yeah, fart noises. Okay, anyways.
Like, you can add a laugh track to some laughs and make
I'm not convinced I haven't heard the same laughs. Because there's one time where he said a joke and I heard some guy outrageously laugh in his dead time. And then, I guess what I was going to say 10 minutes later is probably 30 seconds later because we haven't made that far. I thought I heard the same laugh where I'm like, dude, that doesn't.
Also, how can you prove that the laugh came from him? Maybe someone at the table or something funny happened around the table that they were laughing at. That
right. And Jim's like, hey, like you're at my
That's
joke.
why it wasn't after a joke.
No. Hey, remember when I fart the third time? I want you to scream and whistle. Really loud. Remember that loud whistle you do? Do it.
So we're 20 minutes into an hour thing, and
I don't know if he said a goddamn thing.
My bad. Dad, I burnt down the shed by accident. My bad.
Dude, I wonder what the actual, like, dialogue
Can I keep my radio up?
Him doing impressions time is for
Dude,
this.
that's what I'm saying. I think it's at least 60-40. More fart noises than...
Make a decision like that.
Okay, there you go.
Children at least become a...
Up.
Let the children at least become adults before they can make a decision like that.
I knew my brother was gay well before he was an adult. I'll just say that. I'm not saying it's the same with trans, but yeah,
and transitioning requires. Look, I'm not listening to him in the sense. I'll be open-minded. Like, there's a lot of medication, hormones.
Absolutely.
Your brain is not fully developed till you're like 25.
Right.
That being said, like, I understand the correlation you're making, but like, being gay does not require any amount of medication.
And I'm not saying
surgery,
I'm not saying I disagree.
like that.
But
and it's a bigger process. So I think you can actively support the idea of them being a different gender before
that's what I'm saying.
The
that's what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
And what I don't like is how he, like you said earlier, he hasn't gone into any details of what he's comparing this boy.
No, he's just dismissive of
like,
the idea.
It's like, hey, how far are they going? Are they just allowing him to be?
He just sort of heard a parent,
him or her, sorry,
who had a kid that he sees as a boy, say that their boy like thinks that they might be a girl, and he just shut down and was like, "Nope, absolutely.
I don't like my wiener." And now I guess that was his punchline, and it's just like,
girls don't have wieners. Just like weird, simplistic fucking.
You ever
shit
gone on Pornhub?
Like,
you'll see plenty.
It's more complicated.
Plenty of chicks
dude.
with wieners, and you'll be like, "Wow, she's hot," and you're like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, I mean, but I mean, that's still even different.
Absolutely, absolutely. But what I'm saying is, you can't define it as simple as what he's doing. Mm-hmm. That's all I'm saying. There's so many different.
Absolutely. No, He's not minimalizing it. Like, he's not doing anything with it. Like,
yeah,
there's
I
no
would-
explanation going on.
Oh,
You can't
man.
even say that he's, like, minimalizing, because he's not even, like, saying anything
No,
about it.
there hasn't
He
been.
just brings
Hey,
up a point and then mocks it with a bunch of fucking theatrics.
wouldn't it be funny if this was his genius idea of he's actually not saying anything and he's actually on the other side?
Somebody had to say it, and he's just
He
mocking
never
it.
said
Oh,
anything?
bro.
That'd be genius.
It'd be an ultimate form of satire. Unfortunately, I don't think.
I don't
that's
think it
happening.
is either.
You may think you want to be a female. When I was growing up, they were transvestites, and that's a lot of work. I have a lot of respect for the transvestite.
What were we just talking about?
Okay, so I thought he would have had tranny written down, but it was transvestite
Transvestite.
that he had written down. Yeah, no, you're describing a transgendered person, and they existed even in the 80s.
Yep.
And
Some would argue they've always existed.
Society came up with this terminology to describe something that they didn't understand, and you're just like latching onto that as if like, well, that was reality then. What was wrong with that? It's like, what? I mean, okay. The only like you weren't being offensive like by saying like transvestite like in a point in time, but like if you're presented with information that says, hey, that's offensive, and you choose to disregard it and stick to what you fucking feel like was okay because that's what you've always done, you know, like your intention doesn't matter, right? Like if I fucking kicked your fucking ankle as you were walking with the intention of tripping you and I accidentally broke your ankle, my intention doesn't fucking matter anymore, right?
Yeah.
Like it's out the window.
That
point.
something similar happened to me in gym class in high school, where I tripped a buddy of mine to be funny, and I remember when like, oh, dude, my bad. He's
Right.
like, yeah, it was your bad.
Yeah,
and I
100%.
remember like that struck me because I was like, I thought it'd be funny,
Right.
and then I'd be able to be like, haha, dude, my bad. And he's like, yeah, what were you fucking
Right.
thinking?
What the fuck, dude?
That could have really hurt me. I was like, right, that wasn't funny. And I didn't think of my repercussions
Right,
in that
100%.
situation at all.
Yeah.
And it took him being like, it took me like being a dumbass.
For someone, but it takes the one person to be like, no, I'm not just gonna like
Yes.
politely laugh this off, you know, like I'm gonna fucking like, dude, that was fucking annoying, bro,
Mhm.
you know. But sometimes the thing was,
Yeah, I don't
is
mean to
back
sound
in
like
the
that's
day,
a similar thing
there
as
were
like
certain friends
transgender
that you could
fights
say
and
that,
everything.
and that just egged them on even more.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like if
yeah.
there were enough of them on, and you got irritated, they were like, "Oh, okay,
Uh-huh.
we found his spot. Here we
Yeah,
go. You
here
know,
we
found his
go.
button.
We're
Let's
gonna
push
keep
it."
picking
right?
on it.
Yeah.
You know?
That's a lot of work. I gotta put on shoes and pants and girdle and the lipstick and wig, and I'm sewing this today. That's a lot of work.
Not what that
But at
entitles.
the end of the day, you still do what you want. I'm begging any child that's thinking about
Yeah, that's how that
And
works.
injecting safe hormones.
just think of tiny little things.
Bro, these dumb motherfuckers are like safe hormones. Like, bro, these motherfuckers watch Joe Rogan, fucking all that shit. They're taking supplements because fucking Joe Rogan told them to, that are natural. You know? Like, hormones are natural, motherfucker. Like,
Yep.
It's not like, you're being so fucking nitpicky about
Yep.
what is okay and what is not.
Things like the first time you go to a concert outdoors and it's muddy out, you gotta piss in a porta potty. You might want to speak to females before you jump into that.
Why? What did I miss? Why would you want to do that?
Oh, he's saying, have you ever been to a festival where there's only porta potties around and how awful they are?
Yeah.
It's like, that experience is obviously worse for a woman. Why would you want to transition into that and have to deal with that?
Oh. Okay.
I mean, I guess that's an argument.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I had to take
That's
a
why
shit.
that's the premise of their transition. It has nothing to do with like an
I had to
absolute
take a
identity
shit.
crisis.
At the fair the other day. I went to the fair the other day.
Yeah, I saw.
And I had to take a shit there.
Well, that's unfortunate.
It was unfortunate. But it didn't make me go like, huh, thank God I'm not a woman. It made me go like, this sucks for anybody that has to be in this situation.
Well, I get the joke that he thinks that he's making.
Right, but
the point that he's not getting is that when it comes to people with those identity issues, how they go to the bathroom in very specific public situations is not really at the forefront of their thought process.
And it's not necessarily a funny
point.
punchline because, exactly that. It's like, what you're pointing out would suck for anybody.
Right.
It would suck for anybody.
No one wants
And you're
that.
making it be like, God, could you imagine being a lady having to sit on a shitter? It's like,
I know
dude, it
girls
sucks
are,
for
girls
anybody
are,
in a public space who has to sit on that.
And girls are real good at the hover,
They're so good.
If we have to shit, we're all in the same situation.
Yeah,
so
it
we gotta
sucks.
figure it out. But
I get
girls
I
are
want to be
pretty
sitting
good
down.
at dealing with fucking situations that they don't want to sit on as well.
Yeah, but he's also arguing one side of the thing, it's like, there's also the female wanting to become male, or I don't know, I'm probably not saying that right, but you get what I'm saying. Yeah. It's like, dude, you're just picking on one side of the argument and not even...
Somebody wanting to transition.
Yeah, I think,
Him, like saying, why would you transition? Because when you transition to a girl, should you go to a music festival... As a woman, that's going to be really inconvenient for you. And and he's like, yeah, okay. Well, I guess I won't confront this like identity issue that I'm dealing with and this fucking inner turmoil and anxiety that I'm going through. Because if I go to a music festival, I'm definitely not going to want to sit down in the porta potty.
Hey,
there's so much more involved with it.
I don't think anybody wants to go into a porta potty.
Right.
And that's the thing is like, there actually could be a very funny joke in there. I think he's got ideas where I'm like, man, a smart comedian would have said this about it. And I don't know.
Could have made a funny commentary
like again, not to bring him up, but Ron Wright, if he was like covering the same material, there'd be no fart jokes, and this would have taken up 3 minutes of his routine. He would have moved on past it. And gotten onto a joke about how he fucking got busted smoking weed on a plane.
No, totally, yeah. Right, yeah. There's always a point where you can relate to Ron
Because, like, that's the thing with Ron Wright is he's always so smart. But at some point during his stand-up, you realize he'll say, yeah, I'm just as dumb as all you.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because
100%.
he and I love it.
You can relate
I'm
to
so
him,
glad
right?
I'm a female now. Oh, God. Sister, you don't want to come in. You don't want to go in there. It's disgusting.
This is another dumb joke that, like...
I would argue it's not another dumb joke. It's just the same joke he thinks he's telling.
Does he think that if somebody transitions to a female that, like, they can get pregnant and that, like... Suddenly they'll have the insides of a female.
No, I think what he's talking about is honestly
I think he's talking about having a period every month.
I thought he was just talking about going into those gross bathrooms.
Okay, if we're still in the bathroom,
yeah, I think we are. I think we are. I think we are. Back it up a little bit.
Were you just talking about Ron White? Yeah, he was. We both like Ron
White.
We're using Ron White as an example of somebody that would have like maybe had a criticism of the way things were handled.
Yes.
But they would have done it in a much better, more
very
intellectual, manner.
Jokes. He's very smart about it. Like, even if you don't agree with it, it's like,
Ron White would have been like, fuck it, I'm doing it. You know?
Yeah, he's so good about that.
It's fucking dumb. Like, what are we doing? What are we all doing?
Yes.
But, like, he'd be like, but of course I'm doing it. You know, like, he would have been...
He would be the butt of the joke in a very smart way. And I love it.
He's, like, just as dumb as everyone else because
this guy,
he's falling for
Jim Breuer is just shitting on
Oh,
one
dude.
side, and that's
He's just mocking people.
my thing. Like my
All
favorite
he
thing
does
about
is mock people.
my favorite thing about comedians is like the guys who are willing to kind of call themselves out, you know. And that's one thing I love about Dave Chappelle. It's like he'll say the gnarliest joke that you think isn't gonna go there. And he's like, "Nah, I went there."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yeah, I'm that asshole."
Yeah, Dave
But he'll-
Chappelle's losing me a little bit. He's not doing a lot of comedy these days.
No,
He's doing
I
a lot
agree.
of
I
more,
agree.
like,
I agree. But he was smart.
I mean, I
about it.
still love him. Like, even when he does speak, like, I don't, disagree with some of the points that he's making. Like, I just, like, again, you're responding to a vocal minority, and you're kind of picking on them to some extent. And I think the punching up concept is something that I agree with. Like when it comes to comedy,
I
like,
mean,
well, fuck, who was the old dude, gray, long hair? George Carlin.
George Carlin, yeah.
Was you punch up. Like, you
Yeah.
don't punch down when you do comedy. Like,
Well,
you don't
I
pick
think-
on
I
the
think-
less fortunate
I
people
think-
going through shit, right?
But
you know?
yeah, I agree. But I think a lot of that is in context of certain shows. Like I went to see Dave Attell once where he riffed the whole time, and some girl with lupus, and he was like, "Who's got?"
Yeah, but if
and
you
he was
do
like-
it in good,
and then he
if you
punched-
do it in good-natured fun,
Right.
because I know Dave Attell, like already, like I know the way that Dave Attell
Yeah,
would
but
go
what I'm
about
saying
doing
though,
that,
what I'm
right?
saying though,
There's an approach that you
Yeah.
make that is very different,
yeah,
right?
I agree
Like,
with
and
that.
that's an
I agree with
important-
that. But I think when you're on the stage, you're allowed to be clever. You're allowed to be blah blah, and then we get to interpret it. That's it.
Well, that's
you know?
that's my. I mean, yes, you're
And I think
very
Dave
right.
Chappelle's stuff has, yeah, changed in some ways. But dude, I mean, I think like you should be allowed to say what you want. The fact that we're edited on YouTube, all this sort of stuff, it's like no. The funny thing is, I don't have to agree with everything you say, but is like this is completely different than Dave Chappelle.
What it feels,
Dave Chappelle has
yeah.
his own opinions. This is not that.
right?
And I don't have to agree with Dave Chappelle to go like, hey, he's okay. This is fart noises over
Yeah,
disagreeing
it's
with
awful.
somebody.
But
And
I
it's
do feel like
ridiculous.
Dave Chappelle recently is kind of bridging that gap of like certain people don't like his jokes,
Yeah.
and then he chooses to argue with them about it, and it's like,
Well,
bro, you're a comedian.
I get
Not
that.
everyone's
I get
gonna
that,
like
though.
your jokes.
I
Like,
get
calm the
that.
fuck down about it. Like, move on.
I get that.
Yeah.
But hold on. But with me and you, like, think about, like, you know, whether I play music or if we do shit. Like, dude, if we were to be in a spot where we're like, hey, this is our opinion, we can't appease everybody. Like, yeah, there comes some sort of sense of, like, hey,
No.
I'm doing my
But my point is your objective goal when you're going out there in the first place, right? If you're Rage Against the Machine, you're a musician, like you're a musician, so you're going there for music, and you also understand that they're kind of activists within their music, right? It would depend on whatever sort of music we were putting out, right? If we're like fucking
But if you don't
Jack
think Dave
Johnson
Chappelle's
or
like
some
some
shit.
sort of activist at some point, I mean,
Well, okay.
that's kind of ridiculous.
Well, no. Okay, but that's the point, right? Is the type of activism that they do. He very much has always been a activist, but
But you don't have to agree with it.
the
That's
no,
the
but
thing.
like his sort of activism was he made edgy jokes
Mhm.
and just said kind of like fuck you to the audience after that, right?
Mhm.
But now he makes edgy jokes. The audience goes, some of the audience goes, oh, I don't like that.
Yeah.
And then he goes, okay, well, fuck the rest of the audience that didn't care about that.
Mhm.
I'm going to talk to the minimal audience that got butthurt about my jokes for my next 4 specials now straight, you know?
Yeah.
And that's where it's like, okay, bro, calm down about it. You know, like you're a little
Yeah.
butthurt. We get it. like they didn't.
Well,
like
he got screwed over, and it's one of those things
he's
where
an open-minded guy, and I know he's not transphobic. I know he's not, any of those things.
But I think
And
that's the point, though.
He's frustrated about being interpreted in that manner. But this is my point: this is where both sides falter at the end of the day, right? Is that we take extreme minorities on each side and pretend like they are that side, right? Like they are the totality of that.
Right.
And it's like, dude, calm the fuck down. Yes,
Sure.
there's some people who are butthurt about some
Right.
transgender jokes that you've made, right?
Right.
You're a comedian.
Right. But I would argue he's still making jokes. This is not making jokes.
Yes.
And
okay.
I don't. And then again, where
No.
I go to is
To
you don't
compare
have to
this
like
to
him.
like Dave Chappelle is like it's not.
No,
there's
but what I would like to
comparison.
compare is like, dude, at some point, like same thing with bands. At some point, I don't necessarily have to agree with you, and it's heartbreaking at times. But it's like, at least you're
with
still
who?
making music,
With who?
Like let's say, like with Dave Chappelle.
You
You
said,
know what I'm saying?
No,
bands.
you said bands.
Yeah.
Yeah, my fault.
But it's
That's
just one of
what-
those things where, like, yeah, it sucks when I don't like your music anymore. But I can't sit here and be like, you guys.
Figure it out. We scream so much more when we don't have an
I
ear.
know.
Yeah, I just realized that. No. But
Hey,
no,
Wes!
I very much understand what you're saying, like in that regard. But like with Dave Chappelle, like, and Dave Chappelle's being like, where like Dave Chappelle used to do comedy that would be topical,
Mm-hmm.
like kind of South Park, like the way it does comedy, right? Like the
Mhm.
point is
Mhm.
in the joke, right?
Right.
Like it's satirical, but recently Chappelle has kind of gone to a different gap where it's speeches that he's making,
Yeah.
points that he's making,
Yeah.
that maybe subtly contain humor in them, or he'll throw humor in, but his objective goal is a very specific point,
Right.
which to me, we've now removed ourselves from the point, like stand-up comedy, right?
Mhm.
Like, and that's my point with Dave Chappelle, is that
Right.
like I still love him when
Right.
he does those specials. I think he makes great points.
Yeah.
Or I mean, I think he makes some good points. Like, I don't always agree with him.
No,
Like I
neither
said,
do
I
I.
think
That's
he's
fine.
sometimes a little bit like too personal about some of this, and it's just like, hey, bro, yeah, I get it. Not all of them get it, like, but move the fuck on. But like, I think he's a genius. I still think he makes incredible points about things.
How much do you guys watch?
Stand up, do you guys watch?
Oh, I watch a ton of stand up.
Yeah, I watch a fair amount of
Legal,
it as
right.
well. Yeah, go for it.
Um,
Yeah, I watch a decent, I mean, not as much as I used to, because it is very formulaic, and at some point in time, it's not that it's predictable that, like, I know every joke that people are gonna make, but there's just this rhythm to it where you feel like you're kind of listening to, like, the same song with different words over and over again. So nowadays, like, I need a stand-up that, like, kind of changes it up a little bit. But yeah, with Dave Chappelle, like, I love him, but I just don't feel like he's doing stand-up anymore. Interesting. What do you like? Who are comedians that you like, man? I mean, I grew up on stand-up comedy, dude. Eddie Murphy is Delirious. Everyone points to Raw, and Delirious is harder to find, but Eddie Murphy's Delirious is one of the greatest fucking things ever. The best comedians are the politicians, yeah. They're unintentional comedians, so we're talking about people intentionally make jokes, right?
But I would argue he's not making jokes.
No, this motherfucker is making
But at the end of the day, you still do what you want.
He hasn't
I'm
made a
begging
single joke
any
yet.
child that's thinking about
That's his joke. The noise
And
that they're up.
injecting safe hormones.
He just did the same.
just think of tiny little things like the first time you go to a concert outdoors and it's muddy out, you gotta piss in a porta potty. You might want to speak
Yeah,
to
like,
females
this
before
is
you jump into
different,
that.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm
Like,
so glad.
the
I don't
idea that
speak
his
now.
brain's so limited that he's
Oh,
like,
God.
I won't, like,
Sister,
I
you don't
feel
wanna come in-
enough like a
you don't
woman
wanna
that
go
I'll
in there and
transition to it.
disgusting.
Oh, wait, I'm gonna have to shit in a
all
porta
over
potty
the
at a
place.
festival?
Call
Oh,
it
never
off.
mind, never mind.
Call it
I've
off.
changed my mind.
Hold on,
Like,
fellas.
it's so much more than that, you fucking
I wish I
moron,
had a
right?
penis, I could
Do I
just
like
pee
Iglesias?
anywhere.
I mean, to me, Iglesias is just like
Gabriel.
a cookie cutter, like.
Like, he seems like a nice dude, and that's fine, but, like, I don't watch his stand-ups. Like,
He's very like. He does a lot of voices. I like a guy that just has straight to the point jokes,
Is that
no
the kind
voices.
of guy you like?
What?
Is that the kind of guy you like?
Yeah, I'm thinking of transition.
I like a guy who.
No, but like Gabriel Iglesias, you know, he does all the, and
Check
I
his
don't hate
Tinder
him.
guys.
I don't hate him, but it's like
Yeah.
my favorite guys are like the Dave Attell's, the guys that are just like kind of
flippant,
not
like,
there to piss anybody off, but like man, their
Let me give it a
punchlines.
shot. See what happens.
Yeah, and if it doesn't work
Sorry.
out,
Okay. Not that.
like
anymore.
I was
Yeah.
saying, like when I saw him at the Helium Club, he made it some.
Yeah, dude, that's rad. I
Joke
wish I
made
had
it.
seen
Some
something.
lady made a joke about lupus, or she's like, "Oh, I got lupus." He's like, "All right, Loopy, it's not all about you tonight." And then the crowd laughs and stuff. So what does he do? He buys them around. Like he pulls money in his pocket,
Mhm.
and then so everybody, David, because he was doing crowd work at the end of the show, and he'd whip people a new one, and he'd keep pulling cash out and be like, "Hey, buy them a drink."
Right. Yeah.
And it was
yeah.
just like that was so fun to watch
Yeah,
because
dude.
that guy's just like, hey, if I offend you, I'm gonna buy you a drink because I don't mean it like that. But
Right,
you
yeah.
guys came here to
We're just
see
having
me,
fun. Dude,
shit
Dave
on
Attell
you.
was fucking great, man.
and dude, Insomniac.
is
Oh,
one of the best
dude.
shows that's ever been made.
I wish he could have gone on, but he's stopped drinking.
yeah.
He still
I mean,
smokes like a I think he still smokes like
you
a chimney.
can't. You can't do that show for too long. You either
No.
gotta pass it off like every couple years, right?
Well,
like you
yeah,
have to do something
Yeah,
like
and
that.
like I think what he was saying too is like, well, he had been a drinker like that his whole life, and that came into like that show kind of made him go like, oh man, I can't do this forever,
Right? Yeah.
because like my whole job now is to like almost like Bert Kreischer, where your job is to get fucked up.
Yeah. Kreischer's. I've seen Segura and other people like have conversations about. If
Yeah.
you need help. Do you step
No,
in
and he's
on
still
it?
like, yep, nope, I don't. But it's like I get that, man. If I was famous for getting fucked up, I'd be like, well, don't stop me now. Don't.
It's just
stop
yeah.
me
I mean
now.
that's it. Like it's kind of his personal choice. He has kids.
Yeah,
He
that's
has
true.
a wife. Like I guess his decisions are affecting other people. But yeah, like.
Well, he's also
I think
Bert Kreischer's
everyone.
the type
I
of
think
guy
his
that ran.
wife knew.
He
who
ran a
was.
marathon.
Right, but I think his wife knew who he was. When
Exactly,
She married him,
exactly,
like it's
Exactly.
like that's his thing. That's what he does.
He's the machine. He's
Yeah.
got that famous Russian mob
He's
story.
filming a whole movie on that, right? Like.
Oh, I think I kind of heard
Yeah,
about that.
yeah, they're making a whole movie about that fucking entire
Probably got
thing.
Seth Rogen and James Franco.
Right. Yeah.
Or Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart's gonna play Bert Kreischer.
James Franco's still getting hired. Like
No, I don't think he is. That was a dumb joke, but
No, but I saw like a story where he's playing like Pablo Escobar in some fucking
well,
movie, and it's like John
Lithgow?
Leguizamo
Oh,
or whatever
really?
was like, hey, what the fuck?
Am I not the perfect?
Why is a white dude being hired to play, like,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
fucking dude?
I will say that that always strikes me as weird because, like, you know, look, I mean, not like I was on the side of, like, when they hired, what's his name to play Tonto? Guy,
in the movie with Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp played the Indian guy, and you're like, oh, why did they do that? It's like, it wasn't that they wanted a character guy.
Right.
And that's it. And you're allowed to adapt shit.
It is acting, right?
It is.
I think
that
people
is it.
can be a little oversensitive, but I also get it.
Oh,
when like there's an underrepresented,
there's this
like,
famous
you know,
movie, or I think it was like Jamie Foxx who said, he was like, yeah, I filmed a movie a while ago with Robert Downey Jr. playing a Mexican, and we just have to release it because
people are upset about it and shit.
And the thing is like, I think that can be kind of funny in a way if it's...
Dude, Casa de mi Padre.
Dude. Or just like, you know, not to be cliche, but the whole, like, Tropic Thunder. Like, being so self-aware, we're like...
But I think you're always preempting reactions when you don't know the reaction. And I'll always go back to, like...
Yeah.
Like, would you be upset, like, if, like... And, like, say, like, another culture, like, tried their best to mimic, like, a fucking, like, American movie? Like, if Indians, like, if in India they tried to make, like, an American movie, like, and they only had Indians to, like, portray Americans, right? Like, I would think that was great. I would think that would I would be curious
and the thing is,
about their interpretation.
And that's my thing with any movie or TV show. It's like, I go in, like, dude, let actors act, right? And I get, you be like, well, why not give that to this person? But it's like, okay, like, but maybe, you know, let it play through, you know? Who's the best actor? You know what I mean? And I get it. Like, I'm not.
I mean, I guess
it's a slippery slope.
When it comes
I'm not
to,
saying
like,
do blackface.
I think when it comes to races and ethnicities, I understand it much more than I do when it's like, you know, Dallas Buyers Club when what's his face plays like a transgender person.
Jared
Leto.
First of all,
like,
fuck Jared Leto. Don't like that guy. He's a douchebag.
He's a great actor.
He's a good. Yeah, that's what pisses me off. But I won't watch anything anymore.
Yeah.
He ruined the Joker. Fuck.
But like, if that's gonna be the world where like an actor, a straight actor couldn't like
play a gay actor, or like
actor,
even like
a
gay actor
can
can
hire only gay actors to play. Like,
but what about even that? Like a gay actor can't play a straight actor,
right? Yeah,
you know, it's like kind of one of those things where it's like, hold on,
if
folks.
you're gonna set that standard, then it's got to go the other way, you know, right?
30 Seconds to Mars sucked. Sorry, just gonna say it. But yeah, it's just one of those things where it's like, I don't, you know, it's a slippery slope. I'm not saying it should be one way or the other. But I'm just like, I'm more so like, right? I'm not gonna judge a movie or anything like that by who's in it. I'll judge it by how much I like it.
Right. Yeah.
That's just it. And you know, if you hired 5 guys to play five white guys to play 5 black guys, like, yeah, that would be a little different.
Yeah, that's crazy. The only circumstance that will ever work is Tropic Thunder.
Tropic Thunder 2. Where they have 5 white guys, but that's a joke.
Oh, I was like, "There's no Are you?"
Yeah, that was the whole
about
joke.
The movie
I thought you would pick up on that.
Fault.
But no,
fault.
you're right. You're right.
Robert Downey Jr. in that movie, because that was the joke.
That
right?
was the joke.
Like, they're poking fun at that idea that, like, you know, we're like browning up white people so that they can be like Indian or fucking, you know, and it's like, why would we do that when they're fucking Native American?
The whole movie
like,
was a joke about making movies, you know, the whole thing with like the trailers for Ben Stiller's movies, and You know, it's just like the whole
Right.
thing is like, why can't we
They're
have
so
fun?
self-involved as
Yeah.
actors that
Yeah.
they have no consideration of any shit
Yeah.
like that. And that's why they had the black actor to offset the whole thing
Yes.
of like,
And that's
what the fucking fuck?
That's
You
exactly
know?
it, and it was
Like,
well
right?
written. Like they're kind of poking fun at the whole thing of like, hey, why didn't you get?
No, it's brilliant.
Yeah,
It's fucking brilliant, right? So
and
like,
they didn't have him do blackface. They had him commit to like he had skin pigmentation done. So
well, the
now he's-
character did. I mean, Robert Downey Jr. did blackface, but the
Yes,
character
but
itself,
but
yes,
that's the fact that
changed
they,
the pigmentation of his skin to
yeah,
out. He got the role over the other black character
Yep.
that was in the movie.
and it's
with
like
this movie.
it's
with
kind
him.
of smart writing where you're like making fun of blackface. I don't know.
That's one of those moments.
It's just the right way to do it, or maybe not the right way to do it.
That's
but-
when you like. That's one of those moments where it's like, see, look, I'm not saying people should be blackfacing, but like, that was a really good moment of blackface. Like,
Yeah. It
are
was
we
a-
gonna generalize it and say we should never do that? We never want another Tropic Thunder to ever possibly exist. You think some people legitimately don't know what satire is?
Yeah.
I
maybe.
think it's like sarcasm. Like some people just don't possess the ability to interpret it,
I know a
or
lot of people that don't.
because satire does also poke at reality, and the people who don't get it are people who are probably being made fun of in that satire, right? And so they get offended by it, but that's kind of satire, right? Like you're throwing a dart out there and it's gonna fucking hurt some people, and you know, like other people are gonna enjoy it. Yeah.
No. But if you're clever about it, at least it's not fucking the most
Well,
offensive.
you have to be clever.
like this.
Yeah.
This is not clever.
If you're gonna make points about shit that is like about social shit, especially taboo social shit, you've
Mhm.
got to like have a point that people can go, okay, I see what
I
you're
never
saying.
thought about it like
Even
that.
if they don't
Yeah,
agree
yeah.
with you, they can like understand your
Like
point.
Jim Jeffries.
like,
you know
yeah.
Jim Jeffries,
Jim
the
Jeffries.
Australian comic.
Oh yeah.
He's got all these funny gun control jokes where you're like,
Yeah, Jim
that's like a
Jeffries.
very like Eddie Murphy way to put it.
Before
or-
you go too far with Jim Jeffries,
Yeah.
Jim Jeffries fucked himself over on his show where they did sketchy editing on people where
Mm.
like they would misinterpret like the views that guests that they had on their show. And you know,
I think
Jim
that's the whole
Jeffries
point of the
again,
show, though.
Jim Jeffries was someone that I enjoyed.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
But if you go back in Jim Jeffries fucking like he's got weird like fucking stories of like drug binge nights where
Oh yeah.
like
Oh yeah.
some weird shit happens between like a friend of his and like a girl and you're like okay, you know, like
Never mind.
there was a time and place that like but dude, what was his show on FX?
Real Sports or something.
No.
He had Brad Pitt do weather for him.
No, that was the Comedy Central
Oh,
one.
okay,
The
okay.
FX Legitimate or
I don't
like
know. Oh, something like that.
where he like moved to LA, helped his muscular dystrophy
Oh,
friend.
right.
Like,
Yeah.
I very much enjoyed that show.
Was
and
it
got
good?
canceled after
Oh.
like 2 seasons, but that was a good one, yeah, for sure. But yeah,
All right.
where are we at? Jesus, we are slow.
I don't think I can make it through this whole video.
Well, we're definitely not making it through this whole.
Can we switch to
I think that
the
was-
Arctic Monkeys song?